want to tell you some amazingly powerful tools for getting out of your stories. Actually, I really only want to tell you one. And that is, question your story. Whatever story or stories that you tell, if you begin to question them, you can really learn a lot. You can change the course of your life. I'm going to tell the story about being unable to have children. I would like you to think about a story that you have used in your life to define yourself. And as I talk about mine and how I've questioned that and come to some different places in my life, I'd like you to think about how you can do the same with your story. So all I ever wanted to do was have children. Very plain, very simple. Seemed like there was no way I could possibly fail at that, right? I mean, that's what you do. So I didn't work very hard at school. I didn't need to because I was never going to go to college. And I didn't go to college because you don't need a degree to have kids to be a successful mom. Obviously, I would be the world's greatest mother without a college degree. So I didn't have to expend that effort. But the kids didn't come. They never came. For 15 years, my husband and I tried. We had some wonderful times trying, and we had some not so wonderful times trying. And after 15 years, we decided to become foster parents. We decided to take in children thinking that that would be the quickest, the easiest, the least expensive route to adopt. And so, with great excitement, we welcomed 2 little girls into our home, and I came apart at the seams. I went into a 3-month panic attack. Essentially, I had a nervous breakdown. After 3 months, the children had to be removed from my home, from our home. And I didn't recover well from that. And so, by the time I turned 40, my story went. I was childless. I was divorced. I had little education, no career, few job skills, and a history of mental illness. And I can see by your faces that that is a really great story. I can use that story so effectively to stay exactly where I don't want to be. So, how do I change this? Very simply, I question my story. I want to encourage you to have outrageous curiosity on your own behalf. The first question is, how has this story served you? Well, I told you a few ways my story served me. It kept me from ever having to work real hard at anything. And then it kept me from trying because by that time, I mean, let's face it, I'm just way too old to start a career now. And, you know, I'm stuck in my ways. And so you get it. Won't go further into how it has served me. But how does your story serve you? How does it keep you stuck? What does it explain? I want to take a moment, I want to have a caveat and let you know that the stories that we have served us. They have gotten us here successfully. I am alive today because I used the story in the ways that I did. I'm here now speaking with you because my stories brought me here. But their usefulness for me has kind of come to an end, and so I'm ready for something different. Another question, what about viewpoint? Can you tell your story from a different viewpoint? In the past, my favorite viewpoint for stories, of course, is the viewpoint of the victim. You can get wonderful mileage if you're a victim in your story, because, trust me, it's easy to convince other people who have stories that they're victims that you are a victim. What if I took my story to Hollywood, though? Now, if I took my story to Hollywood, I could write it very differently. I could write the story of an underdog who makes good. I could tell the exact same story, but from a viewpoint of how I became strong, of how I became creative. I can tell it as a story of how I became able to extend to other people love and compassion when they're in pain. How I can extend to other people hope when they have no hope. Because I've been in a place where there was no hope. And I am now in a place where hope is all that I have in abundance. It's a great place to be. Some other questions. Oh, excuse me. Another way that Hollywood would deal with my story. They could make it a comedy. I think most of us have probably seen the stories, the comedies that have come out from the infertility issue. All the temperature taking and the tests and the fallen vials and one thing and another, and then the children, the foster kids, and the crazy, crazy things that happen there. Believe me, if I chose to, I could make that extremely funny. I'd probably wet my pants. It could be a comedy. That would be much more successful for giving me a life that I want than continuing to be the victim. I don't want to be the victim anymore. I want a different story. We can have those different stories. We can completely change our lives from this moment on. If we choose to leave yesterday's stories and yesterday's pain in yesterday where it belongs. Here's an interesting question. What if you woke up tomorrow morning and you couldn't remember your story? How might today be different for you? What if you told your story as, in the past, yeah, this happened, but it's really no longer relevant to me because I have learned the lessons that that story was here to teach me. And then I have a couple of favorites. What if I no longer use this story to define myself? I've defined myself, as I've mentioned, as in the past, as a loser, as a failure, as a person who is stuck. What if I didn't define myself by that story anymore? What might my life begin to look like? And my very favorite story of all, or question of all, what if I told that story for the last time? And what I mean by that is, I never again tell it the way I told it before, or for the reasons that I told it before. Having said that, I just want to say again, stuck is being unable to move forward on your own behalf. Freedom is the ability to move forward on your own behalf. Questioning your stories is how you can get from stuck to stuck on freedom. And I have one last story to tell you. That is the story that I used to be a performer. My first public performance as a solo was when I was 7 years old. Before that time, I had performed many times with my older sisters. And I performed for many years. I absolutely love to sing. I love to perform. In fact, once I was older and married, I remember telling my mom, you know, performing is as good as sex, but a lot more people tell you how good you did. Then I got divorced after 20 years. And when I got divorced, I stopped singing. The story was that the pain of that took the song right out of me. And I want to thank you all for being here with me today for my first public performance in almost 9 years. I want to tell you that you can change your life stories, even if you've had them for a really long time. Is today your day? I want to thank my sister who looks much like I do at this moment. All the people who are here as my guests today are here because of love, and their love has brought me here. And all of you, your love has brought me here, and it's brought other people here. Thank you so much for letting me tell my stories.